Hello everyone. Um, Today I was at work all day today and I just kind of was just reminiscing about this past like year and a half and this journey, and I realized I've been talking about the changes that have been going on, but I never really showed anything. And so I thought that some before and after pictures, maybe some reasons why might be kind of interesting to show. So um, I'll start off. These first couple pictures you're gonna see was me circa 2010 and then 2012, before I was really getting into anything about diet changes or anything else like that. I wasn't really interested in it. This is what I look like. We moved here in Hawaii, and I got here like the very end of 2010, and my wife came over the beginning of 2011, so like March or so she was here. And so some of these pictures you'll see is about that time. And then later on we moved into a little place. It was great. Everything was going good. I wasn't into lifting weights or being athletic or anything then. I had taken some time off because I knew what was going to happen. If I went back to the gym, I was going to gain more weight, and I wanted a beach body. So a beach body was, being in Hawaii, I kind of needed one. And so what you're looking at right now, that's my beach body. But I'm about 30 pounds-ish lighter than I was at my heaviest, which I don't have any pictures of me when I was really lifting heavy. Like I said, it looked like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, but, kind of little muscle on him. If the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man was doing steroids, that would be what I look like. White skin and all, needed a suntan, the whole thing. So, next up, you're going to see some pictures of, I'm going to say like 2013-ish, 2014, where I'm on the beach. This is the time I started really getting into, I think we had just moved into this new place, and I told you I started like the primal kind of a diet, playing with it a little bit. There's a lot more fresh fruits and vegetables around here, so I was really doing that, trying to throw that in with my food, but still eating things I wasn't supposed to. Like, I don't know if I have a picture of it, but there's some like grass-fed whey, which I can't have dairy except for like a couple times a year. And I mean, protein, I was trying really hard, but not knowing what I was allergic to or sick, it was making me sick. It was bad. I couldn't get the answers I was looking for from it. But anyway, that being said, these next pictures are down there, so I'm probably in the 290 range in some of these pictures. And then along comes the real reason of why I got sort of fit. Was not only was I doing these diets, but when we first moved here, we brought two dogs with us. We brought a chocolate lab and whatever jumped the fence mix, and a black lab and Wiesla. The chocolate lab was Maddie, and the black lab was Lucy. And we loved them both. We had them since they were little tiny puppies. We rescued Lucy. She was maybe 4 or 5 months old, and she was from abused home. But we took them both in and raised them both. And Maddie we had since she was little. And pretty much every day of our life, my wife and I were together. We don't have any children, so these are our furry kids. And we love dogs. And about a year and a half after we moved here, I think it was around St. Patty's Day, 2012 or so, Maddie, our little chocolate lab, she died. And then shortly after that, Lucy developed lupus, canine lupus, and the sun, she was actually allergic to the sun, so we ended up rehoming her to a couple on the mainland who knew my parents, who the lady was actually going deaf and needed a dog that would bark anytime the phone rang, or bark or acknowledge anytime someone came to the door. And those are the most annoying traits I could never train out of Lucy. But it just turns out that Lucy was made for this woman. So she lived for many years with this woman. I think she was 10 or so when we adopted her out, and then I think she lived 7 or 8 more years and had the time of her life. She was the queen of the roost for sure. Definitely the princess, which was a much better life than we could have provided for her with another dog. She was the main dog, and just warmed our hearts knowing about it. And this woman who was having issues physically, this dog fit her. It was a miracle, and that it was like a match made in heaven. Lucy was her perfect dog and helped her live out her life till the end of it, just in perfect health and in security with our dog. Anyway, so my life was devastated when Maddie died and we had to get rid of Lucy. Like, that was really heartbreaking for us. We didn't know any days without our dogs, and I longed for them a lot, and it took roughly 4 years before we could get another dog. And I went to the pound, and we were looking at a dog at the Humane Society, Maui Humane Society. He was a black pit bull, and he wasn't really interested in us. And we went back the second day, and I saw Molly, which is a picture of her right here, through the kennel, and I think it was on like the 6th of March. I forget what year it was. We've had her for a while. But she was just all cut up and scarred up and had been feral from what we could understand. She hadn't been around anybody, any people, or any other dogs. She was between 6 months and 6 years old, so our vet we took her to later on said she was about 4. She was just maybe 20 pounds under her weight, and she was just cut up and broken ribs and just a mess, puncture wounds everywhere, the poor thing. And I saw her, went and looked at this other dog, and that dog, I decided in my mind, I compartmentalize everything, and so I was looking at this black dog, but I had this other dog pictured, Molly, that if this dog didn't fit, I'm going for this dog. And that other dog paid no attention to me, didn't remember me when we came back the second day, so I told my wife, I said, go get the other dog, or go get someone worked at the pound, and have her bring Molly, or I didn't know her name at the time, have her bring that dog into the little gazebo where you check out this dog. And they brought her in, and sorry about this, I'm sidetracking into this dog because it does segue into where I'm going with this. But they bring Molly in, and we're in this little gazebo, kind of this cage thing with lattice. It's nice. We're sitting there, and Molly's running around. She doesn't know how to be around people. And I pull her over close to me, and I'm sitting there with her, and she sits between my legs. I just bring her close to me, and I look down at her, and at that moment she looked up at me, and her eyes, they met, and she melted into my arms. And I got all choked up, and I was like, this dog is coming home with me. There's nothing in this world that's going to keep me from this dog. So she melted into my arms, and I knew that she needed help. And I didn't really know what that meant. At the time, I was doing time under tension, working out with my buddy. I wasn't into this functional medicine thing. I was into doing other diets, but I was working out with my friend. And at the same time, he would have me running. And so kicking my shoes off, my slippers, over here we call them slippers, but it's like thongs and flip-flops, what's called on the mainland or whatever. But anyway, kicking those off, I'd go run around this park. And she would go run with me, and we would run like one lap, and it's like 0.8 of a mile. It's like we'd leave the gym and we'd go out around the pool, and we'd go down the street on the sidewalk and jump onto the grass as soon as we could, and then run around the baseball field a couple times and up by the tennis courts and back up to the gym, and that'd be one lap. And we'd do that a couple times and be totally winded. And for her, because being feral and not being around other people or other dogs, it helped her mental stability, and which helped me because I had missed my other dogs so much that giving back to this animal and helping provide her a better life and stability, I didn't realize that's what was going on, but that's what was happening. We were just kind of like melding, and it was healing me and helping her. And so that became her focus and her job. So we just run. So it's real therapeutic for her. we'd run and run and run, and we'd start doing laps. And because of it, as long as she's running with me, I'd just do laps with her. I'd work out, we'd run. Or I'd get there first, we'd run, and then I'd go work out. And we just did this over and over again, just running around in fields. And then one day we decided we were just going to run as much as we could. And I didn't work out. I just took her out, watered her up, and we just, ran and ran and ran. And stopped, got some water, made a couple laps. And we did, I think we ran for like hour and a half, 2 hours one time. I don't know how many laps. We weren't really running very fast. I'm talking like what most people would jog at, maybe a 12 or 13 minute mile kind of thing. We just run, and I run barefoot. It's fun. And what turned into therapeutic with her turned into like a habitual thing with me. It was a habit, and I started to really love it. And the first time I ran without her was my wife and I had a 15th wedding anniversary. We went to Kauai, and there's a canyon there, Waimea Canyon, and it has a trail. And I'd never run out of this grassy thing. I'd done some treadmill stuff with some shoes, but I don't really like running in shoes. They kind of constrict my feet. But we're at this canyon, and I see this trail, and I turned to my wife and I said, I'm going to run this thing barefoot, because that's how I've been running for so long. I'm just going to do it. And she said, okay, I'll catch up. And I took my shirt off, took my slippers off, and I'm just wearing some board shorts, and I just took off down this canyon. And I don't know, it's a couple miles maybe. And I just went down this hill. I was like kind of parkouring off these tree branches and rocks. And I remember going by some of these hikers and these tourists and stuff out there, and they've got like backpacks on and hiking boots and shorts, and they look like they're getting ready to go through the Alps in the summer. And I just, excuse me, see you later. I just fly by them like it's nothing. And they're thinking, who's this long-haired, Duck Dynasty looking guy with this beard and no shirt? And my wife would catch up to him later like, did you see that guy? And she's like, oh yeah, that's my husband. Or whatever. And I just would fly through there. And I turned out, I loved it. I loved running, and I loved running barefoot, and I loved trails. I hate running on the roads. Sorry for you guys who like running on streets. But I like running in the hills. I like trails. They're so much fun. And so I started taking my dog up to these trails. Up here we have these forests up in Haleakala, up in like the Makawao forest area above where we live. There's this like 6 mile trail, and the dog and I go up there and we run it. I don't do it barefoot. I did it one time, and that was a mistake. I'll get into that later, but lots of little fallen logs and sticks and stuff, and it's like running over those rollers for your muscles that you roll out, but on the balls of my feet every step. So after 6 miles of having my muscles really cranked into by these little rollers, I couldn't wait for it to be done. And so I'm never doing that trail barefoot again. But anyway, we run that, and then we ran up in the redwood forest was really fun too. We got up there and cruised around and had a blast. We just ran and ran and ran, and the years have gone by, and I only like to run if she's there, and it's therapeutic for her, and she's almost 9. I am noticing her slowing down a little bit, which is kind of sad, but she has fun. We go to the beach, we run, but it's caused in this functional medicine journey, along with working out and eating correctly and following what doesn't make me sick, the benefits are I drop weight just by moving out there. But it's all to her. It's all because of her. It really is. I'm fortunate enough to marry. I married a wonderful woman that loves me, and I think she's pretty hot. And she's put up with me and the dog, and she loves the dog, and the dog loves her. The dog's pretty good at this kissing game. We taught her the kissing game. I actually taught her how to wag her tail. I can make a video about my dog. Just videos all the time about how cool she is. She's a little blue pit bull. She's 9, name's Molly. I love her. Here's a bunch of pictures of her. Anyway, thanks for doing this. Here's some before and after pictures of me, like I said before, and then here it is pretty currently. These will be pictures of what I look like now playing on the beach with the dog. In my mid 220s, 45 years old, This year I make 46. I feel fantastic. I feel great. But I've always been real self-conscious about my body and my image. And I don't care so much really anymore. And if looking at these videos and looking at, listening to what I've got to say and looking at these pictures, if you're looking at these things going, I actually look better than that, good. And you want to look at this point and go, man, I wish I could look like that. I look like this now. I want to look like that now. This is what it looks like for him. And it's only going to get better for me. I hope this is encouraging. I hope you're like, oh, wow, I don't want to say all you got to do is run, but find a reason to get out there, to get out of yourself, to get out of your, self-conscious insecurities or whatever, and focus on something else. A friend of yours that might need a walk, your kid, your dog, your mom, your dad, or somebody that could use some exercise, and get out there and just enjoy it. Enjoy the relationship. Because that's really all you get when you leave, is not all this other stuff that you collect, but the people that you know, the relationships, animals. I'm hoping we get to heaven or whatever. There's all of our old animals are there, because I sure would like to see my dogs. I love them. And I think life is a series of awesome dogs. I heard that one time from a friend of mine who lost her dog. Her friend told her that. Life is a series of awesome dogs. And I believe that's to be true. And I think this life is a series of awesome events and the choices that we make, and we either learn from them. They're not mistakes. They're opportunities to learn from, or there's successes. I think that's really where it's at. Life's too short to be negative. And so I'm hoping to encourage you and instill some some possible positivity. That's what I meant to say. Anyway, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.